All right, so check this retirement strategy out. This is pretty cool. This is from my man Tom. All right, Tommy Two-Tone. Tommy Two-Tone. He says, retire at full retirement age. Let's see. He has $320,000 of savings. All right, 320. All right, he's got 320. He wants to take 7% a year out. How dare you, Tommy Two-Tone? How dare you take 7% a year out? And even me, I can figure that out. That's about $21,000 a year right there. All right. Plus Social Security between his for both he and his wife, and I guess his wife has a part-time job. He doesn't say how much he's getting from that. We have $60,000 on a mortgage. All right, $60,000 mortgage on a $400,000 home. All right, $400,000 home. Let's see. Mortgage will be paid off in 4 years. When savings run out, start reverse mortgage at that time. Take monthly from home in the years to fall. If we need to go to nursing home, we'll still have a lot of equity in the home if we start reverse mortgage in 15 to 20 years. All right. So again, the problem is he doesn't say how much he spends. We don't know how much he spends, but I'm assuming, I don't know what else he's got. But anyway, so let's go into this here real quick. This is going to be a lot of fun. So check this out, shall we? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put is $320,000. We're going to take 7% a year in the S&P 500. And hold on a sec. We're going to start in 1966, just because, with high inflation, low rates of return. And that money lasted for about 12 years. Not too bad. Was that 12 years or so? Lasted 14 years, excuse me. This is from my man Daniel Kulibert's 55e.co, 55e.co bucket strategy website. So that lasted for 14 years, okay? So by then he'll be 80 years old. My man will be 80. All right, so by then he'll be 80 years old. All right, we'll just say he's going to live till he's 90. So he's 10 years. So he basically, yeah, there we go. So he has no money though. This is gone. Gone in 60 seconds. So he's going to need the equivalent of $21,000 to replace that. And so all we're trying to do, see, this is where they kind of get you. They throw all these different bells and whistles at you. Like, no. How much are we getting from our portfolio? $21,000 a year. When that portfolio is gone, how much do you need to replace that? That's what we're shooting for here. All right, so we're going to need $21,000. By the time he's 80, that will be the equivalent of, assuming inflation, $42,000 at that point. And again, this is the worst case scenario using the 1966 to 1970s and early 1980s. So he needs $42,000. So he has income need of $42,000 for 10 years. He's going to need it for 10 years, basically. All right, we don't have it. Oh, but he does have it because he has a house that's worth $400,000. And how much is it worth that? So let me show you what's going on here. Check this out. So we're going to go to my man right here, Don Graves, over at HECM Advisors Group. How does a home equity line of credit work? And this is fantastic. And so what you're going to see here is this is a guy. So basically, this guy has, his example is Pierce and Linda have a $400,000 home, which is exactly what we have. They have an existing mortgage balance of $100,000 that they're going to pay off. And so they're going to have, you can see, a outstanding balance right here. So in this case, they got a, one second. So for Pierce and Linda, they got $400,000, so they have $100,000 outstanding against it. The max they can borrow is $200,000. It depends on your age. But their original loan balance is $105,000 because they're going to roll the closing costs into the original loan balance, all right? So that leaves them a line of credit, $95,000. The principal limit, that's how much they can take out of their home balance. So they still have 50% equity that they can't touch. They only get 50% of this, of which they're going to use half of that essentially to pay off the balance of the loan. It's not being paid off. It's still growing. I'll show you that in just a second. But yeah, they got a $95,000 line of credit. Does that kind of make sense? Yes, it does. So again, they still have $200,000 of equity in their home. All right. So now what my man Don shows you, which is pretty cool, is that after year one, at a 5%, all right, both the original balance, the loan balance, and the line of credit grew at 5%. So after year one, you can see right here, the loan balance now is at 110. The principal limit is at 210 because it grew at 5%. The loan balance was at 110 basically. And that's the loan balance or outstanding balance. The line of credit is at 100,000. That's how it works. You just take your principal limit minus your, I got to do it like that so you can see it. Excuse me. So you take your principal limit minus your balance, loan balance, and that gives you your line of credit. And the principal limit grew. Remember, the original principal limit was $200,000. but it grew at 5%. That's 210. The original balance is at 105 at 5%. It goes to 110. The line of credit was at 95 at 5%. It goes to 100. That's what's happening here. So their line of credit is growing. Their original balance is growing too. They don't have to pay it back. I mean, the bank's going to get paid, don't get me wrong, because the principal limit is growing. So watch what happens here now. Year 2 to 5. By the end of year 5, the principal limit is at 255 at 5%. Just assuming a 5% growth rate, 255. Their loan balance is at 134. All right. And you can see what their line of credit is going to be, the difference, 134. And you can see the line of credit is going to be the difference between those two. It's going to be 121. All right. So the principal limit is growing by 5%, the loan balance is growing by 5%, and the line of credit is growing by 5%. Pretty interesting. So now watch what Don shows after many years here. By the end of year 30, you got a principal limit of 864, 453. Principal limit 864, I think it said 453, which means your line of credit now is 411, something like that. This is after 30 years. So the line of credit is 411. You can tap into that line of credit to your heart's content. Oh, by the way, your house is still growing. Remember, your house is worth $400,000. We only have $200,000 available to us. The house is still growing. In fact, Don shows in here a $400,000 house at 3% appreciation is now worth $970. So your $400,000 house is now worth $970,000. All right, at 4%, at a 3% appreciation. So your principal limit is 864. Your loan balance is 453. You still got 50%, 50% more than 50% equity in there. Even though the loan balance is growing at 5% a year, your principal limit, even though your loan balance is growing at 5% a year, your principal limit as well as your line of credit. Even if the house itself is only appreciated 3% a year, you still got $970,000. Did I say $970,000? I think is what we said in there. Yeah, $970,000. So your equity has gone from $200,000 all the way to $450,000. Are you really going to be put out of your house? So in this case, going back to what Tommy Two-Tone, it's like, dude, you take the line of credit. I mean, you pay off the mortgage. You can't do a reverse mortgage with an outstanding loan. The reverse mortgage has to be. So either they're going to pay off the mortgage for you, or you're going to have to pay it off. You can't have it. It can't be subordinate is what it's called. It can't be second behind the first. It's got to be first. So when Tommy Two-Tone is done paying off his mortgage, or even if he just uses a reverse mortgage to pay it off, then he takes a reverse mortgage line of credit. There is no original balance. And if the line of credit is going by 5% a year, and look, you can see right here, man, a principal limit of $200,000, that all be his line of credit, $200,000. It grow by 5% a year. So if he has no balance on the loan, no balance, and the principal limit is $200,000, and it grows by 5% to 210, another 5% to I don't know what it'd be, 220. All right, that's his entirety of his line of credit. You can take that. So now he only needs $42,000 a year for 10 years. That'd be what, 15 years or something like that from now. What would Don say would be his amount after 10 years? It'd be $255. His principal limit is at 5 years. After 10 years, his principal limit would be $325. So now he needs $325. His principal limit is $325 in here. He's, what do you say, $42,000 a year. Divided by 42,000. How many years would that cover you? 325 divided by 42. You got a trusty calculator. You go 325 divided by 42. That's going to cover him for 8 years. 8 years. And then, by the way, his principal limit is still growing. That 325 is his principal limit in 10 years. It's still growing. It's going to cover for the next 10 years until he's 90. But that's not traditional retirement plan. That's 4% rule. Dude, if it works, man. By the way, that assumes you're adjusting for inflation 1966 through 1982 as well. I mean, look at these inflation numbers. You have inflation 4.2, 5.5, 5.7, 4.4, 3.6, 6.2, 11, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, anything could happen. Who knows? But I'm just saying the idea that 21,000 in 1966 is the equivalent of 42,000 in 1979. Yeah, that could happen. That's not going to happen. Anyway, it's a great strategy. But the reverse mortgage is a scam. Okay, don't retire. Keep working. I don't care. Do what you got to do. Reverse mortgage, you're just giving the bank your house, really? Because in this case, he's still got a crap load of equity in his house. You're not giving it to the bank. Reverse mortgage, Okay. Actually, it's pretty interesting. Check this out, what Don says. So right here. Too good to be true? So many have questioned if this is really true. In August 2016, ARP made a recommendation to congressional policymakers that the home equity line of credit, the reverse mortgage line of credit, which has functioned the same way since 1988, was too good, and the HUD, Housing Urban Development, should consider eliminating the growth feature of the program. I don't know what will come of this, says Don, but for now, establishing a standby home equity line of credit home reverse mortgage line of credit could be a tremendous financial planning strategy. Here's the ARP. Currently, the loan balance and the credit line of credit grow over time at the same rate as the existing loan balance. The line of credit grows at the exact same rate as the existing line of credit. I don't know if that's still up to date today. I think it is. The growth rate consists of the interest rate plus the mortgage insurance premiums plus a fixed margin charged by the lender that's specified at loan origin. Any untapped loan proceeds will grow over time, i.e. home equity line of credit or reverse mortgage line of credit that isn't being tapped into. And borrowers can end up with access to a far larger amount of funds than if the proceeds were taken all at once. That's a bad thing, says AARP. You hear that? Any untapped loan proceeds will grow over time, and borrowers can end up with much larger money than if the proceeds are taken at one fell swoop. Have to take it out once. The credit line grows regardless of any changes in the value of the home. If home prices fall, the line of credit borrowers have access to an ever-increasing amount of funds. That's a bad thing. HUD should take steps to ensure that homeowners who need money have access to them, but should prohibit the use of use of HECMs for a portfolio hedging. One way to do this would be to eliminate the credit line growth feature of adjustable rate mortgages taken as a line of credit. It's so stupid. I thought AARP was there to help people retire. Instead, they're like, we don't want you to portfolio hedge. Who's hedging? I mean, people. You have a right. It's your freaking money. Anyway, love your thoughts on this. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I'm certainly going to look at incorporating this once I hit. Is my man Sergio out there? I think it's 62. You got to start with a home equity line, home reverse mortgage. I think it's 62. I'm 53. I'm a young 53. Look at my pearly yellows. All right, God bless. We'll see you.